Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the BTS series. We're taking a look at America's region number 4. We're here in the very first round. It's going to be Team Freedom facing off against Team Gossip Girls in what should be a pretty unbelievably good matchup. I'm super hyped up for this one. My name's Lyrical Dota, joined today by Ryuu. Ryuu, how you doing, sir? And are you excited as well? NA Dota.
NA Dota. No, I like NA Dota. They can pull out a lot of cool new things. As for what I want to see from NA Dota is just that next, top 3, top 4 team, because we all know complexity keeps growing and growing. They have 2 kind of Americans and then, the 3 Europeans, but can we have another EG in the scene, so to speak?
That's the dream, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I might need to get you to turn up your microphone a little bit real quickly. It's always...
All right, how's this?
Maybe slightly more. I want to hear you in my ear a little bit more, like just all up in there.
Yeah, you're pretty soft. That's probably on my end.
I can
How
try
about
and do a
this?
couple things.
Is this better?
That sounds so good. We're great. So a couple of things starting off right from the beginning. Both of these teams, not like super new, but maybe redesigns of older squads or something like that. Maybe reaffirmed. It's like the reboot sequel. But kind of interesting right off the start, the Abaddon ban. That seems a little bit odd to me. They are going to end up being able to get the Invoker in the immediate response at the PL. Kind of an interesting draft to start it.
Yeah, the reason why they pick or ban Abaddon is because all the time IX Mike plays it in the offlane.
Okay.
And they've had a lot of recent success, and they probably scrim a lot and know a lot of information. And the reason why they picked up PL here is because we all saw what MP, or I think it was QO. Was QO playing the PL at the majors? Or not the majors, Dota Pit there? It just was an amazing hero to counteract the Invoker, put out a lot of pressure, and then in the mid-game scenarios, you just dodge all of his spells. And they also had like an Ursa Warrior against as another core that can't really do anything against the PL. He just doppelgangers away, and it was just a really good pick overall during that game. But they immediately countered it with an OD now. I feel so bad for the guy. I mean, you one-shot illusions, and the biggest thing is he drops the Sanity Eclipse, all illusions die, no matter what. Yeah. And then you're most likely going to be out of mana, too. That's going to be a rough life this game.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's something that he's going to have to figure out a way to deal with, whether that's, doppelgangering away or potentially even like having the Manta to save a little bit afterwards or something. It provides a ton more problems. I will say, though, that, picking up the Peel and the Earth Spirit, this is going to be a lot of pressure on the Invoker in the mid lane, and it's going to need to come down to the OD actually being able to pick up the slack, because I don't know about you, but I feel like this Invoker is set up for a really hard time here mid.
It'll be interesting, like you said, if they put it mid. Because they can always swap it now and have OD in the mid lane.
Oh, okay.
But it's weird for me at the same time. Like, you need to have Astral, but you also need to Arcane Orb and burn off the Phantom Lancer's mana early on, else he's just going to keep spamming you with his Spirit Lances once he gets that bottle in the constant roam with Earth Spirit. But I'll be very curious to see where they put their lanes now, because OD is a potential to go into that mid lane, and I think he can crush the PL, but I don't think he can crush the PL with an Earth Spirit. So we'll have to see if that works out for Gossip Girls. In the meantime, we've got Fuzzy Wuzzy, no longer among us. That's the sad days. But yeah, they need another core hero here for Team Freedom. Trying to think of all the options right now. Sven's pretty decent against both of these heroes if you can blink on top of them and burst them in time. Obviously, the Ursa was a good ban because, Roche control on the Dire side. And, that Lich ban, that's interesting to see that. Normally...
I guess that this maybe is to try and prevent the dual aggressive offlane that could come, maybe? Or something like that. It feels like it's kind of a weird situation now, because Team Freedom have the luxury of being able to kind of take their other core if they want, because Gossip Girls have already committed so much with Invoker OD. You know what I'm saying there?
Yeah, that's why they're banning off this offlane here. They also need to ban out probably Void. That's why I'm very curious to see why they ban out the Lich, because they need to target some good offlane heroes here that are left, right? Obviously, the Beastmaster was banned out. Lone Druid could have taken the offlane, but you still have good heroes left in the pool to counteract these heroes. There's Darkseer. That's out there, and obviously the bigger one is Faces Void for Gossip Girls, and I see them getting at least one of those two heroes that synergizes really well with their team, and I'm gonna have to see
Dire
what they are gonna
team
be in
battle.
store. Also, they can pick it for themselves because they have the first pick here for Team Freedom. We'll see what they want to do. I don't like the synergy between Void and PL though,
Mm,
but I do like the synergy with Darkseer
yeah.
and the Earth Spirit. We've seen that combo a lot recently. Just vacuum in, easily stomp the floor with Boulder Smash, pullback, and you could see 3 or 4 people stunned, silenced.
Yeah. No, definitely, and that's also the magnetize being able to apply all that to everybody as well. Like you just sort of double down on that damage, and they do up to ban out the void. And Scarith Mage also going to be taken out of the equation, and this is going to lead us to a third pick. And I'm kind of curious if they're going to maybe try and go for a couple of support picks here instead, and hold off so that way they can save one last strong core there. I guess that they've already picked the Earth Spirit though. Maybe you do just need to take the offlaner here yourselves if you wanted. I will say that
10 seconds
despite the
remaining.
fact that I feel like they have the tools to deal with the Earth Spirit, just that one hero being able
5
to like
seconds
completely
remaining.
change the way the draft has to go because of the pressure he can apply in the mid lane, it feels to me like it's such
Reserve time.
a value hero in the draft that you might need to think about banning it if this game doesn't go too well
Radiant
for
team
for Team
pick.
Gossip Girls. But Tidehunter is going to be the answer. Pretty good.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, Tidehunter is god awful though in this
Okay.
early game situation. But in the later mid game, he can be definitely a heavy hitter there. I don't know if he can rush mech. It's going to be very interesting to see because one, if he arcane orbs you once or twice, you don't have enough for your Ravage and your mech basically early on. Uh, it's going to be
10
very
seconds
difficult to
remaining.
see how it works out. As I'm saying that, he can get shut down super easy, and if
5
the OD does
seconds
go
remaining.
to that bottom lane, you just arcane orb him. He has to go out of lane. There's nothing he can do. They also have a lion now, so this is going to help out with the lockdown early on. And hey, if this goes late game, not many people get the option to see it, but an Ags Lion against the PL, oh man, that can do so much work, but I don't think we're gonna get to that state of the game. That's normally for, I don't want to say tier 1 teams, but it could definitely happen in this game. I just feel like since I know Team Freedom and their people more, I only really know WWD and I've seen Juice, the name, but other than that, you would have to give Team Freedom just the edge so far, just because of their players.
I will say that I've seen some good stuff coming out from Frempo as well. I think that
10
that's how you pronounce it. I've just seen the games. I haven't actually seen many of them casted, but I caught a couple of
5
them from
seconds
various
remaining.
times. And I feel like some of them might have been back in FPL as well. Like that's the thing about NA Dota is that it's just
Reserve
it
time.
feels like it's such a sort of tight knit group that you always kind of see reiterations of the same teams. It's just kind of a little bit of a crazy.
10 seconds
It's like the
remaining.
Wild West of Dota 2, basically. Is kind of my impression of it from
5
my limited
seconds
outside
remaining.
view. But Lena's going to be taken as well, so just more and more things to combo together there. It did feel like maybe if they could have been able to pick up a Darkseer in the midst of all that, that would be a nice little cherry on top to package this away. But Earthshaker also going to be the answer. This
Yeah,
is interesting.
Earthshaker's really good against the PL and his illusions.
10
I'm very
seconds
curious to see where he
remaining.
goes too, right? If you're thinking about that, because most of the time when we see
5
Earthshaker's
seconds
pick,
remaining.
he normally goes into that offlane role because he can get easy levels early on. You just fissure block, you can at least get the first wave, if not the second, if the supports don't pull right away. So that could be really good for the ES, but at the same time, ES plus OD or Invoker mid could be a very big problem to one of the heroes. And with the Lina pickup, it's kind of telling me right now, it's like, hey, we might not put the PL mid lane anymore or something.
Radiant
Or
team
at the end of the day, it still could be a Lina, and they might be picking up Sven right now or something on the lines. Lina support, Sven duo seems pretty good here.
Yeah, I like
So,
it. It's good high level drafting where you create a lot of threats, and they are not going to be able to
10
respond,
seconds
unfortunately, to Gossip Girl's last pick. They have to take it first.
5
But Gossip
seconds
Girls are going to
remaining.
be able to ban out something here, which maybe is going to leave open one or two options, and Team Freedom can make their last choice based off of that. So they are going to ban out the Rubik,
Dire
thinking
team
that
pick.
this was actually going to be a core Lina and a safe lane PL. I will say that with the Earthshaker pick there, it also leaves Gossip Girl's options open a little bit because you can kind of, if you have to, stick him in the mid roll a little bit. He stacks up. He allows the Invoker to make sure that he doesn't end up getting killed off if there is an Earthshaker or a PL running in at him, because I feel like that's one of the ways that you can respond to a
10
PL versus
seconds
Invoker
remaining.
matchup, particularly when there's an added threat of a roaming support.
5
Yep.
seconds
It's
remaining.
so open right now. I could never predict what's the next hero.
Yeah.
It's for either team. It's just way too hard. You can maybe throw out a few heroes here and there. Like I said, if they really want to do support Lena, which I think they will, Sven's great here, and that could help out a lot. They can get away with, but it might be too greedy where you have Sven and PL both farming. Tide Hunter also needs to have those ancient stacks too. So if you're
10
sharing
seconds
ancient stacks with a
remaining.
Tide plus Sven, it's not very beneficial. And
5 seconds
so they're probably
remaining.
thinking about something else. What else? Okay, so yeah, core Lena probably be put in the mid lane now, or even would they put Lena safe lane?
I haven't seen that in a while, but it could end up working. They don't have the best heroes to go around for rune control, so she probably could do okay in the mid role. I'm talking about the side of Gossip Girls. That'd be the only thing I'd worry about with Lena there. Do you think she would be able to find enough kills to really allow her to snowball the way that mid Lenas want to?
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think Lena versus Invoker though has a lot to do with the rune control for Lena. If Invoker denies too many runes, and it could be very bad for the Lena coming back because she's all predicated on the spam, hitting all that. But Lena early on can definitely take it to Invoker. Once the Invoker though gets to level 4, level 5, then the quas levels start kicking in. The cold snap level ticks get higher, and it just becomes a lot easier for Invoker to solo kill the Lena. But we'll have to see. And the Doom last pick here, and so this looks like it's going to be an Earthshaker. Well, actually, we've seen a lot of Dooms being run as support lately.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure where they're going to put the lanes, because Lion and OD seems pretty good for zoning out a
10
Tide
seconds
Hunter.
remaining.
And then Doom, Jungle, Earthshaker offlane. Seems like they'll get a lot of levels done.
5 seconds
And just put Invoker
remaining.
mid.
It's definitely a possibility, and we'll see where they end up going with it. We do have a pause right off the bat, which is always wonderful. We'll do a quick little introduction for all of these lovely little girls down on the bottom. It's going to be Juice on that Invoker, as you said. Gypsy is going to be playing the Lion. It's WWD on the OD. Frempo is going to be playing that Doom. And last but not least, Sniper Dad 420. Absolutely wonderful. And would you care to introduce the fine folks from Team Freedom?
Yes, hold on. Chat is saying I'm pretty loud, so I'm gonna turn.
I turned you down a little bit more, so you were good how you were. I did it on my end, I think.
Okay, good, because they were just seeing it. All right. So you want me to introduce the side of Freedom? Are you
Yes.
sure about that? Are you sure? Do you want me to really introduce these guys and butcher all their names? All right. We have Flea
Okay.
playing the Phantom Lancer. What a great name that guy has. IX Mike playing Tide Hunter. We've got Jubei
Oh yeah.
playing the Earth Spirit, because I'm 99% sure that's Jubei.
Nope.
And we have Eagle playing the Shadow Priest, and last but not least, the person not well, actually he's just half in the game right now. The Lena here, kind of hovering over. What the?
What
is
she
this a
doing?
backflip?
I think
This is
she's
like a
doing
backflip.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Damn cool.
Oh wait,
handled
her
by
feet are on
somebody.
her forehead. That's what's happening. If you zoom in right here, she's got like, I don't know, she's doing a little gymnastic moves. These are not very Lena-like hands,
Somersault.
I gotta say. They look like clown hands. Or maybe like, if you ever seen the movie It, did you see that movie with the creepy clown with like the really spiky teeth? That's what it reminds me of.
I'm just. Her hair is like in her chest area.
We'll leave it
That
at
was-
that.
Yeah, that was just disturbing me. All right.
Well, wonderful. Super excited about this one. Still, like we said, a lot of possibilities for where all these people end up going. It does look like Frempo's heading up to the top lane, so maybe going to see the Earthshaker stick a little bit closer to home. And this is something that I was kind of thinking about. If you think back to, what was it, like maybe 6.84, I want to say, sometime around there, you would see like the Shadow Fiends go mid, and then they would have the Earthshaker that would stay behind them to make sure they didn't get ganked in the mid lane. And it was just kind of that like style of protecting your mid with an Earthshaker, and I'm wondering if that's what Gossip Girls are going to be looking to do this time around, because it feels like it might be kind of somewhat necessary with the aggression there mid.
Yeah, it's just how they're gonna play it. Obviously, if you get a good fissure block in the bottom lane and IX Mike plays too greedy, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if Earth Spirit's kind of roaming in the mid lane, maybe then Mike can actually get some free levels or do something. But like I talked about, it's an OD safe lane that can constantly burn your mana. You're not getting anything
30 seconds
in the off lane
remaining.
here for Mike, and I'm really worried for him. He doesn't start off with an Iron Talon. I am very worried for him.
He does have 1,000,010 regen though, so maybe that's going to allow him to sort of stick around a little bit longer. And certainly, this guy is somebody that knows the off lane pretty well. Perhaps one of the most senior in terms of being around for a while and being able to play. He drops down his ward, and looks like Juice is just going to try and zone him away for a little bit. But Invoker going for the Quas first. Before we get into that, though, is there any team right off the bat that you feel has an easier execution, or a team that you feel like ends up maybe being able to win this as we move forward, just based off the draft?
I really like Girls' lineup just because they have Doom to take out one hero in the team fight, and because they have OD. And they haven't really addressed the hero. Like, the best thing they have for it is the Earth Spirit. So right now I like their draft, but we're going to have to see how well they play. Oh, yeah, Juice. Okay, you're dead, Juve.
Oh, no,
my.
this is going to hurt. He's taking a lot of damage. They do get the Light Strike Array, but
If that was old tower range, 1,000% dead.
Yeah. Well, and it's worth noting, too, that while this is happening, IX Mike is still getting somewhat zoned out, but he's getting some amount of experience as well. It feels like he might be able to get away with this since the Earthshaker's staying a little bit closer to home and stacking up camps. But the main place to keep in mind is wherever this Earth Spirit ends up going. That's where there's going to be some action, I feel like.
Yeah, and if only Frimpo knew what creep was there, he would immediately dive for it. The Satyr Tormentor up here, easily access. They've obviously blocked off his camp early game here, so he's going to retreat to his own jungle. What he's going to find? He's going to find double stacked.
No.
He's probably going to have to... Actually, eating the troll is pretty good early on, since you can raise the dead. So, oh wow, he's going for the Swiftness Aura instead.
Do you think that was a little bit close? Do you think that there's any chance at all that he happened to misclick on that troll that was running around, or is it still worth it for you to be able to get that clap in the Swiftness Aura?
Nah, I would 100% get the troll.
Okay.
When you're forced into the jungle like this, you just kind of have to get whatever works out the most, and summoning up the skeletons early on would benefit way more than the Swiftness Aura.
Okay. Well, we'll see. It's something maybe we can ask him at a later date. But regardless, as far as the mid lane goes, it does look like it's relatively even. Safe lanes are getting about the same as well. The big difference so far is that Tide has been able to stay in lane slightly, and we still have Doom getting a decent amount here, but he's burning through his regen perhaps a little bit more quickly than IX Mike is. He's also doing a lot more swimming throughout this, which is really good as well.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't drown himself. That's the biggest thing. You can swim, Mike, but might be a little bit out of practice here.
Absolutely. Well, looking towards the mid lane, they wanted that Light Strike Ray. Again, you got Jubei up on the high ground. Mr. Kiko Alara Pix, I believe, is what that has as the last one. He took it off. But yeah, he's keeping his eyes on the thing.
Yeah, that's Jubei. I'm 90% sure.
Mr. Jubes.
But actually, let me see. He's on my friends list. Hold on real quick. Let me check.
No problem. We'll see if he's played in this game or if he's off somewhere else. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic. I feel like we haven't seen the Earth Spirit be able to get a ton here. He has been able to stack up that camp. But again, you look at what the Earthshaker was able to do early, and he turned around a gank there. He was able to stack up a camp for his Doom, and it feels like this pick is working out for them as maybe a bit of a response to the Earthshaker or the Earth Spirit. Is there any other hero that you really like dealing with this guy? Because I know that he's just so difficult to deal with, the Earth Spirit.
I think they have decent heroes to deal with them. One being the Invoker going for this Quas Wex build. Nice block off here in the mid lane. They have Tornado to follow this up, but support is coming in. And this is... Yeah, I like the Invoker, as well as they have a lot of disengage. You have Earth Spirit, or Earthshaker, Fissure Block, and then you also have Astral Imprisonment. There's so many different ways to counteract this Earth Spirit silence and stuns that I think they're perfectly fine giving away this hero this game.
Yeah. Well, and it seemed to work out for them fairly well. Not something that you would often say, considering how often that hero does get banned out in most of the professional tournaments. But if you've got a plan to deal with them, then it ends up working. Frempo, again, meanwhile, has been able to have a pretty decent time. He's built into an Iron Talon now and continues to do his jungle, and did eat through a Fairy Fire right there to make sure he clears this camp, and probably is just going to head home after this, I would imagine. Pick on up his next item, maybe boots. And do you think he can head back up to that top lane, or does he kind of stuck to the jungle throughout the whole course of this early game?
I think he can. I think the biggest thing right now is just, yeah, Doom can get up the levels so easily and quickly. Now that he has level 4, he can potentially go into that off lane. As long as you have the Scorched Earth online, there's not that many things to stop you now. A Dazzle won't, and a PO won't. So at the end of the day, he did a really good job, and Mike just hasn't gotten as much. So we have 3 CS compared to 18. Obviously, that's a little bit skewed because they're jungle creeps, but still, you're having a really good time with this Doombringer, and now he's come to the off lane, and, well, is he going to pay for it?
He's taking a little bit of damage there. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they're also battling away. Aren't not going to be able to kill IX Mike, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to kill Frempo unless they get the Doppelganger forward. Chase is going to continue. They don't have enough mana right now, but he does have a Mango. Could opt to pop right here. He does. Throws out the Phantom Lance. Still not dead. Oh, a little bit unfortunate there. So he did burn through his Mango to try and make that work. But Frempo still walks away. He's going to tango up, and really? He's just walking back in there again? All right.
He's like, oh, well, it's pushed. I need to get this, but he pulled. So unfortunate. But that's the thing, right? You don't level up Poison Touch because he kind of went out of the lane. But if they had it there, he was definitely dead.
Bottom room spot. They did have level 6. Gypsy, they're looking for the kill on him. They do end up throwing it. First blood going Lena's way fairly late. And now Jubei trying to run away again. He is going to be able to get caught by the tornado there. EMP down as well. Are they going to be able to burn through all of his mana? He's actually stuck up here on the cliff, and I don't think he can get back down. He has a Fairy Fire, but I think that's just going to be it. He's going to end up getting right-click down, buys out, but still does get taken out.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out who would benefit more from that kill, and I think getting up the Earthshaker, his faster Arcane Boots will help out a lot. So that'll help him out. Obviously, a kill for a kill, but First Blood going the way of Sunby. Doesn't have that Laguna Blade to work with for another 30 seconds, so he could be susceptible to some easy ganks now. Like, they have to be very cautious. If they had a smoke right now on the Earthshaker and the Lion, this would be a really good time to punish the mid lane.
Yeah, we'll see if they're gonna be able to make it happen. They do have the smoke that's up on the Earth Spirit as well, and seeing if they can make something happen back towards the mid lane instead. Gypsy, worth noting, level 3 currently, and still sticking around. We'll see if they're gonna be able to make something happen, but again, it's just so scary at any given point in time for them to try and run into that Lina, since she has that Laguna Blade back up. IX Mike still farming away at the jungle here, has the 2 points in the Anchor Smash, so should be able to take down all these creeps fairly effectively, but Tornado through in the mid lane is going to hit onto Jubei, but does not catch onto the Lina. They're going to have to call it good for the moment. As far as the laning stage go, it feels like it's very, very even. Grill's just a little bit further ahead, with Freedom slightly ahead in terms of experience, so a little bit too close to call. Moving into the mid game, is there one team that you prefer once they start to get their levels and items up, or is it still going to be even and just come down to execution?
No.
I think, yeah, most of it's going to come down to execution, and I guess the levels are going to hurt out the girls more because Earthshaker, top lane, doesn't have his Scorched Earth, but they don't have any mana to work with the PL.
They're rolling full now.
Coming, though, they know.
Oh, nice dodge of the stun there. Not going to get hit by it, and head of TP rotation anyways. Actually, apparently Juice wants to party. The Fissure right on the edge, able to take away all of that mana. And now Kiko in a little bit of trouble. Does look like Jubei is going to fall. Maybe can they get the kill? They're chasing after him. Dazzle's in the area, but ends up leaving him alone. No grave committed since he didn't have the mana. And it's a 4-hero rotation for just the support kill, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under
It's not
attack.
really worth it at the end of the day, and it's a lot of pressure put on the mid lane from somebody. I'm just looking at this bottom region right now. OD needs it so badly. He's maxed out Essence Aura, but he doesn't have any procs. Wait, WWD, he already got his Veil of Discord. I think it's a really good item in this situation I'll touch on it in a second, but I just want to talk about his Gloves of Haste. Is he going back for minus or something? He didn't buy his treads. That's why I'm a little bit confused here, but
Maybe
going
he was
back
just wanting to get all of the last hits in lane or something. And he's waiting to head over there. But yeah, it is a little bit weird. It feels like it would be smartest to get the treads. He's going back in again.
And then going back to the Veil, it's amazing versus PL. It shows the real one, and for the fact that it just helps out tremendously against their lineup because they have a lot of magical damage coming in from girls. All of it is. He's going to get picked off here from WW.
Yeah,
Nice
this
kick.
is easy kill right here. Laguna Blade, everything committed, and that actually gets Ix Mike his 6. So they are now going to have Ravage moving into this. They TP'd 2 heroes in, but honestly, I don't know if they're really going to be able to defend this effectively. I mean, you've got Fissure as well as the Invoker spells, but with Ravage up and available, unless they hit the EMP onto, actually, this might be able to disable Ix Mike enough. He doesn't have enough mana for Fissure, or for Ravage rather, and he's going to have to back out. But still top lane is getting the pressure.
Yeah, their pressuring bottom lane was still good, and I guess Invoker being there helped out to where they're not going to lose both towers.
Radiant's
But
top tower
top's
is
being
under
pressured,
attack.
so if they could have fought, they could have potentially won a team fight in the bottom lane and still gotten the top tower. Doom is really low here, and it's just going to be really hard for him to contest this tower. They have Fortify up. I guess they're going to... That's pretty weird. Mid lane, they got him.
Yeah, Sunbeam's going to end up going down. They end up being able to find it with that EMP Tornado combo into the Earth Spike. Nicely done there. Back up
lane,
top
yeah,
again. They
Doom.
drop down the Doom onto Eagle. Going to right-click him away. Can they find the kill? Infernal Blade as well as the Scorched Shirt. Then he is going to go down. But PL just escapes off the other direction. Does have the TP scroll to be able to escape, so fine for the moment.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see if that had gone onto the PL, could he have killed him?
Top tower
Because
has been
sure, you
denied.
have Shallow Grave up, but I don't think he had enough for both the Shallow Grave and the heal. So maybe he could have potentially killed the core there, in which case you always want to go for the core kills.
Alright, I'm going to do one quick thing real quickly. But give me a little bit of Radio Dota while we're switching around these sounds real quick. So let me know what's going on right now in this game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All right, so now I'm quiet now. I see what you mean, and let's just.
All right, we're good. We fixed it. We're done. We're good.
Is under attack.
We're done.
We got it.
All right, you say we're done, but then you'll be back. You'll be back.
IX Mikey just ends up going down. They find the kill there on the Tidehunter. Nicely done. And now moving in, though, they want to try and take some type of change here. We do have the stuns coming out from Jubei, but they see 3 heroes, and they do decide to back on out. Not going to do it. Well played there.
Yeah, if they didn't back out to the right, they would have most definitely died. At least one of them. If
He
not
did go
both.
Midas.
Okay. So they realize that this game is going to go on for a while, and they've already accumulated a good enough lead
Dire's
in this
middle
early
tower
game
is under
to try and put pressure on. As I'm saying, the reason why they've got away with this early game is because I feel like they've outgreeded them in the draft, right? You have OD, and in this game there's no BKB carrier besides maybe Lina. And that's... Oh, mid lane.
It looks like... Are they going to be able to find something there?
He missed the tornado.
Okay, got it.
I gave Juice a little bit
Radiant's
too
top
much credit.
tower is under attack.
Come on, Juice. Get in the game. Let's do it, buddy. We'll see. They haven't been able to take a tower here, and it looks like they're sort of posturing on Team Freedom to take down the bottom tier 1 as already in a fairly decent position to make this work. And,
Radiant's bottom
Laguna
tower
Blade
is
back
under
up again.
attack.
This is sort of the power of that Lina. Even though you've got the OD that's ahead of her in terms of net worth, she can kill pretty much anybody on the side of Team Gossip Girls. So
Radiant's bottom
looks
tower
like they're going to be able to do it
is
mid
under
lane. Again, just continuing the pressure up and maybe going to trade these towers. Do you feel like this
Radiant's
favors either
structures
team
are
at all?
fortified. Radiant's bottom tower
Well,
is under attack.
Freedom's lineup, they don't really have the greatest Roche potential. So I would say them taking towers right now doesn't help as much. They're just trying to use the fact that they have the Tide Ravage to kind of bully down the towers. But at the same time, if they have one Doom TP in,
Radiant's
Doom
bottom
Mike,
tower is under
I see
attack.
them completely winning the team fight from girls' side. So they have to be a little bit careful of their positioning and everything. So you saw them clear out the trees in the bottom lane
Radiant's bottom
while
tower
pushing that
has
tier 1
fallen.
tower, so no shenanigans could have happened.
Yeah. Well, they actually weren't able to quite get that one mid, and again, it feels like they're starting to take a little bit of control, but with that Midas up on the OD, does that sort of create? By the way, he has a shadow amulet right now. What is this guy doing? He's got the Veil Shadow Amulet. Is Shadow Blade a legit item here on WWD for the OD?
I mean, it increases your attack speed by a lot, and you can definitely. So, I'll take people back to a flashback here. We have a smoke up, so maybe keep eyes if they can pick off this PL. I'll hold the story for a little bit later because it looks like he's going to be caught.
Yeah, he's moving up there, and they are going to be able to see him. He Phantom Rushes forward. They're going to throw out the Tornado. EMP is going to connect the rest of the side. Oh, that's really bad luck. It came out right as he was going down, so he didn't actually have enough mana. He wouldn't have been able to get away anyways, but the Finger of Death comes out. And meanwhile, going after Frampo. Nice little stun there from afar. Laguna Blade committed, and that should be a kill. Is he literally going to be able to survive through this? Are you kidding me? Scorched Earth, good spell, turnaround. Doom Eagle is going to end up getting caught. A three-person table ended up getting killed there with the Light Striker, but now IX Mike threw out the Ravage. It only got the one kill, but it did connect onto 4, and now he ends up paying for it. Wow, Team Freedom just got baited super hard. Actually, Gypsy is almost going down. Is this the second round of bait? What the hell?
All right, that was a very underwhelming Ravage just to kill off the Doom.
Yeah.
Totally not worth it at the end of the day. If they could have had that up, knowing that the Doom is down, they could have potentially gone for another team fight. With Tide Ravage down, I'm not seeing them taking or initiating another team fight, and the girls are doing such a good job of just out-greeting their opponents right now. They've got a double Midas that they're running, and if they don't put the pressure on from Team Freedom, this game could be over within like 15 minutes, and even if it goes into the later stages game, like I talked about, they're just going to be at least one big item ahead, it feels like, of Freedom. So we have to see how this transitions into the mid-late game now.
I mean, it's worth noting that like you've got these boots of travel on PL as he's gonna run into WWD. I don't know if he really wants to stay here though. He's flirting with danger. But like you look at what OD has in the Veil. Granted, it's not necessarily the thing that most people think about when it comes to OD, but you know it helps out with the rest of the people that he has on his team, and it gives him a good amount of int. All of these things there, mid lane, they are going to be able to connect now onto Sunday. The Fissure goes through, completely and totally eviscerated. And that is just going to be another one. And they can't allow these kills to happen. Like, Invoker was slightly behind, and he's catching back up quickly, has the Midas online. Like, this is the timing right now where Team Freedom needs to be punishing these.
Yeah, and him going for Blink first is very questionable in my eyes. You have to rush the Yules after you go for this Aether Lens. I mean, Aether Lens increases your range of the Yules, and that's just basically your initiation as a Blink Dagger. You don't need Blink, and you need the Yules for 1, movement speed, and 2, counter initiation has to be your biggest concern. They have so many stuns and disables on the side of girls right now that
Dire structures are fortified.
you're playing aggressive like that, and any of these heroes can just turn around and kill you. And Lion, the scariest part about their lineup is when Lion and Earthshaker start getting Blink Daggers.
Yeah,
Like,
which
they're
they're
not
about
getting
to
punished
have.
at all for their cores. Oh,
Dire's middle tower
They've been able to catch there. This is going to be a problem. EMP does go out. They got the counter initiation with Ravage, but they're all out of mana now, and Juice is just going to be able to walk away. He's not even going to go down. They do get the Shallow Grave off on IX Mike, so keeping him alive for the moment, but nobody on Girls has gone down. Like, they Blink Ravaged into an EMP.
yep. It looked very good, very flashy, but all of these heroes are just way too tanky now. And having a PL on your side, you're seeing why this hero is kind of, oh, they spotted him.
They got him. Everything thrown out there. He's going to end up going down. My goodness.
They need that Ravage 4 seconds later. Like, they have to initiate first with an ES or a PL kind of baiting or something. They don't have the Yule setup, so it's kind of hard to really bait off of that. But Tide Ravage has to come in 4 or 5 seconds later where they're already set up in the team fight and they're already DPSing down people because they just don't have enough burst damage to really get any of the heroes. And if Lina had bursted down one hero, it would not have mattered because all the other heroes are still going to be in fighting shape
Radiant's bottom
for the side
tower
of girls.
is under attack.
Well, and the other thing that to me that just it speaks volumes is you look at some of these other like situations right now. You're moving into a position where Gossip Girls are pushing up your top tower. The tier 1 is about to get taken. There's no way you can defend this. There's just no way, because you don't have Ravage for another 60 seconds. And so not only do you not defend the mid-tier tower, but you mess up your second part. And I think that this is what's so hard about playing Tidehunter, and why some people, you know, they switch to other heroes, is we are going to see the Shadow Blade come in, go and right immediately onto Flea. He does go for the Doppelganger, might be able to find them out here. They turn around with the Weave, a little bit of damage going back. That was a Laguna Blade expended onto the Lion. They are going to be able to catch with the Boulder Smash as well, so that's several more hits. We do have an Echo Slam, not for another 40 seconds actually, but the Doom's been committed on the other side, chasing on after Eagle. They're going to be able to run him down, I believe. Does look like Flea's going to be able to get out, but on the other side, it looks like Jubei is just going to run away. So Doom got the kill onto Dazzle, might end up being able to, he's not going to be able to get killed off by the Lina.
So that team fight, they're still looking. They are really looking for this. They can find them too. They have Cold Snap.
Oh no, stuck around. Fissure, right clicks everything.
I just saw that pickup coming from a mile away. That's why I was like, this is all yours, Lyrical. This is all yours. But that was a really, really bad play from WD. Like, the whole point of buying the Veil was to scout out the PL, and yet right after he all he has to do is just Arcane Orb the PL after the Shadow Blade, and then immediately pop Veil, and then you just know where the PL is. It's that simple, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Ward spotted out the smoke gank here.
Yeah, that's one thing that Team Freedom have been able to do, is get really good ward vision. Even in the midst of that fight, you know, Jubei was standing right around here, and he was able to get those one wards that were off that direction. And so we do have Freedom that are preparing to defend against this, and we have the Blink Ravage available if they want to go for it. The big question is, do they actually want to try and take this fight? And likewise, do Gossip Girls want to take this fight? Tidehunter, he needs the rest of his team to be there for the damage, though, like you said. Do you think that they can do this without the OD, though?
They're just immediately retreating because they smoked under a ward too.
Okay.
It's so funny. Let's just smoke under wards, everybody. It's the new fad.
I wonder if he actually throws out a Tornado EMP here just to escape. They're not going to be able to catch anybody. So just walking away, keeping their eyes on stuff.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Did they get... So they're all weaved up. It looks like they're actually wanting to pressure this. I don't know, like, so we talked about earlier how Freedom needed to try and end this early before the Midases were paying off. Do you think that that's still the case? Like, can they bring this any later at all? Or what's the issue here?
We saw the issue in the last team fight. It's the burst damage, and the only way Freedom are going to win their team fights is if it's long and drawn out, where you're having PL, you know, on the back lines, maybe killing off Lion first. Maybe he can stick on a target, mana burn them, and just crush them slowly. Because obviously the burst damage only comes from the Lina and the Ravage. But like we talked about, because they have like 3 cores that are very strong scaling, and the 2 supports are the best scaling supports in the game right here, with an Earthshaker and a Lion once they get the blinks. Yeah. Lion already has it. Earthshaker's farming his now. There is no way Freedom can win a straight-up team fight without kiting constantly.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's also been the problem in these engagements, is that they want them to be long and drawn out, but Invoker keeps on hitting these like unbelievably good EMP combos together with the Tornado, and then, you know, Freedom just have to run away because they're out of mana. And then, you know, you've got Fissure to track them down. You've got, like we said, talking about the blink on the Lion. It feels like they're every 5-on-5 team fight has been going Gossip Girl's way.
Yeah, it's kind of like the situation where you start losing every single team fight back to back to back, and it's like, all right, well, there's nothing much we can really do besides split push and pray that we can take a good fight at Roche or something, smoke and get a good pick off. But the options are getting a little bit limited.
Oh, Frempo, he's going to walk up and Doom. Thinking about it, at least he does drop it onto that Earth Spirit. There's going to be the EMP coming out, though, completely out of mana. They do have a 4-step on Ice Mike. He might be able to keep him down, but they don't end up being able to get the deny. Does look like WWD is looking to see if he can find somebody else. And now he's going to have to call it off for now. It's worth noting he did end up going for a kill on the PL earlier and got juked out by his illusion with the doppelganger.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a pretty nice little play there. So one of the things that's sort of interesting. And normally, you know, if you think about the lineup here, an OD against a PL, you'd feel like that lineup would be so much more heavily favored towards PL, but is it just the Earthshaker that makes it less effective?
I think right now they're in a good spot for Freedom when it comes to core versus core matchup, just because WWD went for this very, very greedy build right now. He's got no stats besides intelligence. He's got some good attack speed. Maybe that'll help kill Alina here.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. If they want to, they can go Sanity's Eclipse too. Just for good measure, why not? Mike here does have a Ravage, but he cannot use that on WWD right now, especially with no other follow-up. Is he actually just going to chase him there? Oh, he's good for now. The bottom lane? Oh god, Flea is going to end up going down. They can't afford to lose these heroes like this. They get off a Magnetize onto one hero, Frempo. They do manage to reapply it, so it's going to connect onto 3, but regardless, they're still keeping a hold of him. Meanwhile, Earth Spirit just getting chased down a little bit. I don't think that they're going to be able to find a kill there, but they do manage to get that last little stun on WWD, and this should be another tier 1 tower taken. And if I'm girls right now, I'm thinking about going over for that Roshan.
Pretty much. I would still go for the tier 2 right now as PL is dead.
Okay.
At the same time, if you do go for the Roche right now, it'll be too obvious and they'll just be able to set up. So you kind of are forced to keep pushing this. And if PL had buyback right now, they could easily turn this team fight around and potentially get Roche themselves. But as PL doesn't have buyback, and I don't even think he would want to use it just because there's 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
But they can't contest the tier 2 tower, and they need to make sure they're in time to contest Roche though. If they let this Roche go, it's 90% over for Freedom.
Does look like they're just going to let it happen. Like, this is one of those things. You see them take both tier 2 towers, and it's like, well, where are they going to go next? Probably Roshan. We have Ravage up. They don't have Sanity's Eclipse up. Like, and you can see right here, Gossip Girls are playing so far back with the other heroes because they're just so worried about, you know, the initiation that comes. Earthshaker does have his Blink Dagger, so maybe they're just too concerned about going in with an Echo Slam coming their direction. But whatever the case is, they're going to lose Roshan, and I don't know what stops them from just going straight through the mid tower up to the tier 3 afterwards. Or top tower, rather.
Well, here we go. Pressure being applied by the top lane. We have WWD. Oh, there we go. I think they might have seen this.
That's close.
Good thing he didn't keep chasing. They have a lot of sentry wards in their jungle.
Huh.
Kind of scouting out. They have 4 sentries on Jubei right now.
There's another one right there, too. This is like the play, though, that you need to be able to find him out. Actually, IX Mike is just running around through the woods right now.
Where's he at? Where's he at? Oh, he's not there.
He's playing very fast and loose with his Tidehunter. Oh, all right. They do spot him out, but the creeps there recognizing that, all right, there's some sentry wards in the area.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and Dazzle's going to end up TPing away anyways, but God, they're conceding so much ground right here to Gossip Girls. I don't know if it really comes back to, like you said, that Roshan, it feels like.
Yeah, if he didn't have Aegis there, they would have easily tried to jump him and potentially kill him, but they were still baiting on the side of girls. Maybe it would have turned out good or bad, but we won't know. And with the Aegis, you just can't make that play. There's like 90% chance you're gonna get team wiped after he respawns, and it's just good of them to back out. The biggest problem right now is they have 2 BKBs on the side of girls. Like, you're not DPSing any of them down if you don't have an Ags on Lina, and she is so far off that she's never gonna have it.
She had to go back for a BKB herself to make sure she survives through these fights, and honestly, I don't know if that's even gonna make the difference.
Too much heavy lifting right now for Flea for this PL.
And he does a good amount of damage. Like, you've got Diffusal Blades, Sanj and Yasha. He even had to go back for that, the Vitality booster. He's going into Heart, it looks like. So, there's pieces of his kit that feel like they're together, but I don't know, it's just so scary. They are TPing back the Invoker now to push out these lanes, try and push out bottom as well. Oh god, WWD is going to be able to spot out the PL here. He sends away one and might end up losing now. They end up going for the Astral, a little bit odd, but that means that Lion's going to be here. Can he get the blink off right away? The Hex is going to be there. They do end up trying to force staff him away, but I still think he does go down. The Finger of Death dodge right there by the Doppelganger. Is Flea actually going to be able to escape from this one? The chase is going to continue. They do get the right click off. Can they find him? Deafening Blast is going to get the kill, and now IX Mike's is going to end up going down as well. They get the Hex off. All of his mana gone, and it looks like he is going to drop as soon as he falls from that tornado. By the way, they almost killed the courier right there. It's just, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, and forcing buyback right now, it's almost the same thing as like game over too, because if PL is not progressing at all, you're just gonna lose. And the biggest problem right now is the two things that counter OD in this game is one, evasion, and two, BKB. And they're getting either.
And
so
Lina just used her BKB to escape away from Invoker, and now he's needs to TP very quickly. It is gonna run out. Oh my god, that was so close. Sniper dead, 420. Oh man, that was really close. That means that they're not gonna have him back for here. So tier 3 tower is starting to fall, but Lina doesn't have a BKB as you mentioned, and this is where things get so scary.
Structures are fortified.
Little boulder. They do end up throwing out the tornado. Gonna catch there onto one. They're silenced up though on the Invoker for now. They do have a Ravage available if they want to use it, but they don't end up taking it. Do you think that they can go without the EMP combo?
With WWD, let's look at his Aegis. Ooh, it's about to run out. If they have it to a T, they can initiate right as it was kind of running out, but girls didn't let them do it. Really good job of WWD backing out in time, and then they know it's going to expire here shortly. So what they're going to do next is either go for a smoke play in about 1 to 2 minutes, or just farm up their next item and farm buyback. So there's two big plays that they can make.
It's worth noting that they've had this courier here this whole time that battle was going on. Like, if there's any vision at all, this thing would just be dead, but haven't really had to use it too much. There haven't been a whole influx of items that have been coming in towards the Dire Way. And it's worth noting, like, it's a 14k net worth lead. We've seen leads this big before. Does Freedom have the heroes to try and get back into this? Like, with this squad, if you win a team fight, can you turn it around?
I'm just looking at their cores just not scaling as effectively. I mean, if you, like, let's think about it. The biggest thing right now is the high ground siege for Freedom. Like, they're going to have to hold their high ground, and the best way to hold your high ground is with PL spamming the illusions, like spamming Manta style, spamming Doppelganger, and just throwing his image at hero. Well, he can't do that because there's an OD on the other side just one-clicking them and they're gone. So you can't burn people's mana, and so they don't really even have to back off. So that's like the biggest thing for me. But at the other side, girls still, they lack physical DPS when they're taking down towers. So it's kind of hard for them to siege the high ground. They kind of are forced to initiate on heroes, but the problem with the last fight was Lion didn't have Finger. If Lion had Finger and Earthshaker had blinked in, Lina was dead again. Yeah. And that could have been game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, buyback's becoming so much more relevant. Again, it's nice to see, oh, that last little Arcane Orbit's going to connect onto Earth Spirit, but nothing really that they're going to be able to do. It's good and I think refreshing to see NA Dota starting to turn towards a little bit more conservative, not trying to just like win it all at once and go, you know, throw 30k net worth leads. Like, they're playing good Dota here on the side of Gossip Girls. They are going to run into right in the middle into Jube, and he's going to end up going down, I believe. Oh god, they ended up breaking out of it. Doom's been committed on the other side. Lina's going to go down as well as Jube, and now on the other side, IX Mike, he oh god, he was able to get away, but just barely.
Yeah. One good thing is Lina does have buyback. There's no Doom, there's no Finger. And still, there's no Aegis anymore. So if this is, I would say this is the best shot Freedom have to take a team fight. Because Oh, I guess at the same time, you still have BKBs online for everyone. Oh, man. BKB Invoker, BKB.
Dire's
All
middle
right,
tower
we'll keep an
has
eye on those
fallen.
buybacks as they're coming on in here now. Alacrity is up on Doom. The right clicks are there, still keeping their eyes on things. You might want to think about throwing the Alacrity on the OD as well. It's probably fairly worth it. They have Weave out as well. Oh, God, no. IX Mikey's not going to have any mana. He ends up being all taken away, and now he's going to have to head back to base. BKBs have been popped at this point. Shallow Grave keeping him alive, but that's going to kill him. They ended up being able to get that off. Sunstrike and everything else should finish him off. They are going to be able to chase up on the high ground. WWD looking for Eagle. They end up finding him. A couple more hits
got
might
the
be all they
silence.
need, but they're actually all stuck here. He's going to end up being able to go down. I believe none of his teammates are there. That is a huge amount of gold going back to Lena's way, and all four got an extra additional gold from it. They do manage to get that tower, but now Frampo a little bit caught out. They have the Phantom Lance there. Can they make this work? Juice is going to be able to throw out the Tornado to maybe secure his retreat, get stunned by the Boulder Smash. They are going to be able to hit the Light Strike Array, and they do find the kill. Nicely done there again. Looking for Gypsy. They are going to be able to make this work. Maybe they end up killing off the Earthshaker, but it was still Invoker getting away. So a pretty big, not necessarily throw, but it was a high price to pay for Elena Rax.
Yeah, when you didn't even need to pay the price. That's the biggest problem. That is that a let me try I'm trying to see items here. No, it's just a really good geometric grip, setting up everything. BKB on cooldown for the OD, and WWD has a wonky build. It was doing a lot of work there, but if he could have gotten his ulti off, I just wanted to see what would have happened. Oh, did they? He can just easy doppelganger away. He can chase now. No mana for the Ghost Walk. Might have to pop his BKB.
Oh, they actually have the stun up as well, bringing him down. Oh, Gypsy with the counter initiation. Finger of Death onto the Earth Spirit, still alive for the moment, and the chase is going to continue. Diffusal Blade up. Gypsy in a little bit of trouble. Stunned from afar. The right clicks are there. They get the heal bomb, and they
That's
find
two
another
snipes now
pickoff.
for the Dazzle. He just got 2 kills. Oh, man. With his Shadow Wave.
He's doing his best art style impression. That's what's up with it. So yeah, about 1,000 gold swing off the back of that one, all going the way of the Dazzle. You'd probably love to be able to get it on some of these other heroes. It's worth noting that Tide's building for the refresher. So if at this point, if you're Gossip Girls, you pretty much have to get Roshan at this stage. Does it start to become scary if Freedom are able to snag it?
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing from last Roche. If one of the cores on girls have it, you're not going to win team fight. You have to have like 10 buyback or 5 buybacks on your side, and maybe then. But that thought.
Jubei, they get the counter initiation off with the Ravage, though. They're actually doing a ton of damage. They get the BKBs off on the Sniper Dad. He's still alive. Turning now, the Doom has already been committed onto the Lena. She's ran away for the moment, so nobody dead on the side of Freedom as of yet. They are going after IX Mike, though. No more Ravage. He is going to end up going down, I believe. Stunned up, never mind. As well as Silence, they get the kill there. That's OD dead as well. And now Lena's been able to survive through it as well. They're going to go on to Frampo, trying to kill him off as quickly as possible. They're still chasing. They were able to kill off the Lion, and now it does look like Frampo's going to go down. They get all of the stuns in the world. That's going to be 4 dead, and Freedom suddenly turned this completely and totally back around. They're going to be able to take Roshan.
Yeah, they finally did the perfect team fight where they constantly were kiting them, and they weren't able to get the BKB off on Invoker. It was on cooldown, and that completely crippled girls lineup. That was a really good team fight. Jubei hasn't had the best game so far, but this one team fight kind of all came together where he got a nice stuns out, nice silences, and it just completely turned it around. And not having Echo Slam for that team fight, we really need to have this huge team fight spell. And
I've literally had that fight recap open. That was 9,000 gold swing, roughly,
oh my goodness.
off of that one engagement. And Lena got 2,000 gold, which now means that she has a Lincoln's plus 3,000 gold on top of that. Like,
Yeah, she had the Lincolns completed, and it was kind of flying out during the team fight. That's how much she just made. She made 3K during that fight.
it's that one engagement, the last couple of minutes, 14,000 experience difference is what's been gained. And it was only one lane of barracks that's been gotten, and now Freedom has an Aegis moving into this next round. Like, IX Mike, he's about to be able to finish off a refresher if he wants. This has been a complete and total catastrophe for Gossip Girls.
Yeah, if they get Butterfly now on the side of PL, or for PL, I mean, this might be an immortal PL, where he cannot go down. They might have to hope that ES can get a huge Echo Slam, or that Doom, finds the right one and gets the Doom off. Else, we could be in for a really good turnaround here now. Because, well, at the same time, because WWD, he got way too aggressive, and that's hurting his team right now.
This is it feels, and the other thing is that we talked about the Outworld Devourer build. He ended up going for the Veil into the Shadow Blade to be able to find those kills, which he did get a couple of, but really not that many. And then Sheepstick also, like, these are all items that don't really help you break high ground. This is this a type of item build that's going to allow them to sort of break through here? Like, are pickoffs really what they need at this stage?
I mean, any team getting the pickoffs is going to help. Right now, it's all about we talked about it a lot, Freedom kiting around. They have so many 4-staffs. I really love their itemization and their choices. And I was going to go back a little bit here before IX Mike picks it up. I think he needs to go for a Lotus Orb, not a Refresher. Like, you have to get that online. They have so much single target, and with the Hex online, you can take that off. With the Doom, it's always nice to have that at your side where you can doom yourself, obviously. And well, but going back to your question here, I don't know. I think the play right now is just to wait out the Aegis for girls and then make the play.
Yeah.
That's when you make the play. You make Freedom come to you, and with the PL Aegis, but in this time they're gonna use it to the maximum efficiency, right? You want to spend 3-4 minutes farming constantly for PL for that next item, and then you fight.
He actually
that 1
did
minute
go,
left.
He actually did go for the Refresher, interestingly. So maybe that's going to end up paying them a little bit of a. It might end up hurting them in the long run if they don't have that Lotus Orb. But I guess the way
They don't
that
have
this
enough mana for Ravage though. Let's count it right now. Like 375 plus 225. I mean, that's
if
already
he
more
Arcane
than,
Boots in between them, that might be the way to do it.
it's gonna be very difficult.
Okay. Well, we'll see if he's going to be able to pull it off, and certainly it's a pretty big issue being able to do that with both the Sanity's Eclipse and the Tornado EMP combo coming out. Like 40% mana reduction just off the back because of the ultimate, and then also the other however much it is that gets reduced with an EMP. It's what, 625 mana? It's ridiculous. Or I guess somewhere around there, yeah, 625. But smoked up again, and somebody he's building towards his next item, whatever that ends up being. The thing that's so scary about this too is, like, now you're going into the big thing that Gossip Girls were able to do well early was like pressuring when ultimates were down, but now they're having to fight into this when ultimates are up. And Worth 9 PL actually went back for the Scotty, so he has 3,600 HP right now. Like, he is so freaking tanky, and he does a buttload of damage.
It's interesting to see that he went for the Scotty build. Obviously, if you stick on a target, they're dead, and they have so many BKBs that it'll go through it. And maybe that was the better choice instead of having the butterfly. But I still think that was a great item. Obviously, he can still get Abyssal Blade too. The next item it's either Abyssal or it's going to be Butterfly. Both of them are going to be very great in this. One obviously for the evasion, and then the other one just for locking down targets.
Well, here we go. It's coming down to this. What's the show going to tell us? And Earth Spirit is very far away at this point. He can have that long-range initiation, though, as soon as they end up being able to find themselves in a good position. They do walk forward again. Shiva's Guard is up on Doom. Still has that casual buckler that we saw a lot of at the Major last time around. But they do have now a lot of heroes also that can get into the fight quickly. Uh-oh. This Aegis did just expire, so he's going to be a little bit scared to do this, but everybody's grouping fairly up to a little bit. They end up breaking the invis right now. WWW jumps forward. There's Ravage used one time. They have a secondary one. It ends up going out, but it only caught onto one. They kill off the OD. He buys back immediately. They're going on to Frampo. There's the Echo Slam. Does kill off Ego, so no Dazzle for the rest of this fight. They've been able to control now onto the PL, chasing after him a little bit more. They get the Infernal Blade off, slowed up. He's going to end up going down. I think that they might have been able to make this work. They kill off the two heroes. Super important. My goodness, he doesn't have buyback.
GG.
Oh my god!
I was about to say before that fight happened, I really wanted to say it right before that fight happened. One, no buyback, and two, they had Aegis and they didn't pressure any of the tier 2 towers.
Oh.
That shows you how inexperienced play they really have. I mean, Oh man.
They buy back on the Dazzle. Like, right now, your Tidehunter doesn't have either Ravage. This is, oh god. WWD's walking in. You've got Frampo up front and center. Doom is going to not be up, but they still can run after him here. They end up being able to get the Astral off. Tornado goes through. Nice force step, keeping him alive for the moment. If they can survive somehow for 40 more seconds, they might be able to make this work. He has been able to get out of there. There's the Astral. They are going to be able to find him and kill him off, though. So, dieback now on the OD. How did that happen? What? He had BKB.
Dire's bottom tower is falling.
Ryu, help me.
AFK.
You're AFK. You're done.
Yeah.
You're over it. The throws are real. Like, back and forth we go. Neither side has really been able to pull away from the pack. Again, it's worth noting, after all of these like incredible leads, Gossip Girl's being up by 20,000 net worth almost. It's now only a 5,000 net worth lead, and now they've got PL back up. That was a dieback on OD. They have 60 seconds where they can push this themselves now. They have to push a tier 2 tower here, right?
At least get to tier 2. I mean, yeah, force high ground. Ravage is coming up in 20 seconds. Or 25 here. I'm just kind of speechless right now. Just taking a moment now to reflect on my mistakes.
Your
I feel like I
mistakes.
contributed to the potential loss.
Oh, Juice, he's going to go forward again. They are going to be still fine, though, and he's got so much mana, so much HP. He's got the heart there to keep him alive. 25 more seconds until OD's back up. Can they make it last? It does look like OD is split pushing on the bottom lane, so keeping that one pressured out with the Shiva's Guard. They're going to at least be able to pressure that other lane there. They throw out the Fissure, keeping them out of the base for the moment. Hexed up for the moment as well, and now they're going to have to TP back. So they take the tier 2, but aren't able to get anything more than that for the moment.
Man, this game's going to go on for another 20 minutes, isn't it? All right, well.
It's looking like it might. By the way, today's date, it's March 20th, or March 22nd, rather. So for
Well, it's 23rd here now. You're 7 minutes late.
see, we're doing it for NA Dota though, which
Yeah,
because
it's
it's the that's the system anyways, the 322, and these teams are certainly embracing the holiday.
They're 420 blazing it. I don't even want to cast on that day, because that's what both of these
goodness.
teams are doing as well.
Well, let's see. They're all up in their base right now. They don't have any wards really down on the map to be able to scout out the smoke that came, but still realizing that something could be going on. They're all going to back out for the moment. Roche is still very close to respawning, so Gossip Girls can take this so quickly. It's actually going to respawn right in time, but it looks like we might have Team Freedom realizing that something could be afoot. They're ready to possibly move in there. They're going to have double Ravage for this. Oh, God, they need to go so quickly, though, because if they're not there in time, like, they're going to take this down so quickly.
Yep. And they already scouted out PL, knowing he was in the mid lane. They're feeling really safe right now, and that's unfortunate how fast it respawned. Like, if that was a minute longer, then I think Freedom could have reacted, but okay, well, definitely need the Aegis over on WWD with his place, and then you need the cheese
flames.
over on Frimpro here, because Invoker doesn't have any more slots. What he has to have something, right? Besides phase boots and boots of travel?
Apparently not yet. He had
Oh, no.
a Hand of Midas previously, but I guess he picked up... I don't even know what we're looking at yet. I think he kept phase boots for the moment because he wanted to be able to buy out. He's able to get the Octarine Core, already has his BKB up also. So they're in a fairly decent position, and they're going to start to pressure this bottom lane here. This is the point where it feels like, is Double Refresher going to be able to outdo Cheese as well as the Aegis? I'm not exactly sure. They do go forward there. Phantom Blast is going to be able to catch as well. WWD getting mana burn. They do jump forward, able to catch the Ravage onto 4. They aren't going to be able to break it off, though. They need to be able to Ravage a second time now, but IX Mike dropping very low. WWD throws out the Seize Eclipse. That is going to be Eagle going down. They have been able to burst through the first Aegis. Sunby Gain Shades down. They have been able to keep him alive. No, the Infernal Blade proc ended up killing him. The secondary Ravage counter initiation onto WD. If they can bring him down here, this would be huge, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. PL doing everything he possibly can. Already 3 are dead for Freedom. They buy back on the Lina, still chasing. Flea dropping low, but still alive. They throw out the Echo
no,
Slam.
the
Can
Echo
they
with the
kill him
tornado.
at all? He's still so freaking tanky, but he does finally go down. Buyback status is non-existent. He does have it now as he's going back in. Sunbite dropping low. It does look like he's trying to get back in, but they've been able to control him. Can they find him and kill him? A second Ice Wall in this engagement.
Doppelganger.
He's going for it. He can't find them. They can't get the kill. Oh, but they're still taking barracks everywhere. Flea runs. They throw out another tornado, and the chase is going to continue. A doppelganger away. That is able to get away a lot of the damage. He's disarmed for the moment because of that deafening blast, but throws out another one. They have the gem that's down there keeping a veal, but Flea is dropping low, and now WWD is on top of him. Goes for the Shadow Blade. Still revealed, though. Can he survive? No, they are going to be able to kill him. And that's now 4 dead. Gossip Girls are going to be able to take this one. They throw out the Sanities, or rather the Astral of their own buddy, and Mr. Earth Spirit goes down. I think that might just about be it. Good game gets called.
Man, that was an amazing team fight coming out from girls and everybody. There was so many great plays individually there that I just want to point out some of them. The Doom onto the Shadow Priest is amazing. Like normally you're like, oh let's Doom a Tide, where he can where he can't use any of his ravages. But Mike had a really great initiation in there, and dooming the hero that saves all the other heroes, obviously in the back lines here, and he can Glimmer Cape save people. It's a really good idea for Frimpo to take out that sustain in the team fight immediately. Really good job there. And then the PL, like I talked about, his itemization, the Scotty is really good for sticking on targets, but it still gives OD the time to kill off the illusions like one by one, and it's just not enough when you have it. And you need to have the butterfly, in my opinion, in this game just to help out against those attacks, those physical right clicks. And I think he would have lived during that last team fight and done a lot more work. And the Earthshaker came through at the end of the day. Like they might have messed up there at the end with the tornado and the Echo Slam, but still him controlling the PL there at the end of the game was really nice. And you just saw how much of how much was on PL's back at the end of the game. It was like all on him. It's like 4v5 or 3v5. We got to put everything to kill this guy, and they finally did it.
It's one of those moments where, like, at any given point in time, it felt like they were going to be so far ahead, and this win felt so much more difficult than it had to be. Like, they gave them so many opportunities.
To be such a spectacular finish.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to move on now to game number 2 here in the BTS America's number 4 series. Gossip Girls facing off against Freedom. What was that?
You see those fantasy points?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's unreal.
What is the highest fantasy points that somebody's had? I mean, 25.2 seems pretty maximum to me.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So we'll be back again. We'll keep track of all the fantasy points from here on out, and
come on, my
we'll
fantasy.
It's good stuff. You know, I haven't quite engaged in it yet, but yeah, I'm with you.
No, I'm not with it at all either. But it's like when you see a hero that's like 15-0, you're like, oh yeah, you see that. But 25.2 fantasy points. Wait, what?
That's good stuff, man. All right, we'll be right back in just a second. Stick around, everybody. More from me, Lyrical Dota, as well as Ryuu Boras, if you want to check him out. And follow us on Twitter if you feel so inclined. But more importantly, stick around to the stream. We'll be right back.